Hi, I'm Judy Goulart. This is my husband, Norbert Goulart. He is our veteran. Uh, were high school sweethearts, and he got drafted before we got married. He went through hell, um, was in contact with the Agent Orange, which is what we believe caused his stage 4 throat cancer. The reason I'm having to speak for my husband is that he with his throat cancer, had to go through chemo radiation. And even though it's been 20 years, we're now suffering all the side effects of the chemo radiation. So they had to put in a trach to help him breathe. And later on, had to put in a feeding tube because he wasn't able to eat anything through his throat. We got into a program where it was a clinical trial, special way of treating the throat cancer. They were able to get the cancer out of him, and he was cancer-free until just the last couple of years. And he is now showing a few things, liver cancer and lung cancer. We started trying to get compensation with the VA back in 2009. Of course, it's a quite involved process to try and do that. You almost have to have an advocate to help you through this system because it is a very difficult, long, trying process. We were turned down several times. Each time that they gave us a little compensation, it would be 20% here, 20% there. And the first compensation was for his diabetes, which he had had since he was 30. We're getting very, very frustrated with the whole system, realizing that it has to be exact wording for them to accept the process. I was lucky enough to be introduced to Caitlin through my daughter. Caitlin was my daughter's client, did her hair, and Suzette said, "I think you need to speak to this lady because she is the guru for the Veterans Legal Institute." And she got us into the program. She handled really all I had to do was fill out part of the application, and she was able to take it from there, where we really weren't asked for anything else. It was a real easy process and very rewarding. And I would say it was after 6 months or so, maybe even less, that we had gotten 100%. Today, he is doing very well, and we have referred several friends of ours to the Veterans Legal Institute, and I highly recommend it to anybody who is having struggles getting approval from the VA, because it's a very difficult, long process.
My name is Caitlin Emmons. I'm a lead staff attorney with Veterans Legal Institute in Tustin, California. We are a nonprofit law firm that serves low-income and elderly veterans in Orange County, Los Angeles County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino, as well as some of our counties up north in the Fresno area. But what really stood out to me about Mr. Goulart's case, in addition to the severity of what he'd gone through, was that they had been advocating for themselves for years at this point. And the VA had continued to kind of piecemeal out benefits to them. We would see things like 20% ratings, 10% ratings. Yes, we agree this is service connected, but a 0% rating for some things. And they weren't able to get up to that 100% status. So when we got involved, that was our number one goal, was how do we get them to this 100% status? So in order to do that, we connected them with one of our staff attorneys. We were able to gather up their medical records. They had already done a really good job keeping documents of everything. I think Judy has a binder with everything in there that really tells the story in paperwork version. And they were great clients. And so they came to us, they brought us the materials we needed, and then we were able to do our job, which is to advocate and fight with the VA to get them the benefits they deserved. I believe initially they were turned down. The VA had denied our claims. And we went back and battled it out a little bit more. And ultimately they received that 100% disability rating. In the VA, while 90% doesn't sound like much less than 100%, it can be the difference of upwards of $1,500 a month. So we wanted to make sure that they were getting all of the benefits that they were entitled to. I think that can be really validating for veterans. I think that them hearing the VA acknowledge the damage that was done by their service is really important. And I hope that the Goulart family, and I think they do, I hope that they feel that validation as a result of that 100% disability rating. Our Vietnam era veterans undoubtedly faced, I think, probably the biggest challenges any veteran community has ever faced when they returned from conflict. They were struggling with the politics of their situation. They were struggling with a country that didn't view their service as honorable. They were struggling with being drafted. There was just a whole lot of additional problems. And then come to find out, very quickly, really, that there were serious medical issues as well. That it wasn't just that they now had to deal with the brunt of unrespected service and disrespected service, but they also had some of the most significant medical impacts as a result of their service. And so we talk a lot about the conditions, and we talk a lot about the laws. And I feel like a lot of times we lose track of the people. We lose track of the families that are impacted, the families that years after service are dealing with serious ramifications of those medical issues. Judy spoke at length about, what Mr. Goulart, what Norbert went through. And so many of his issues now are residual from the treatment that he had to go through because of the cancers that he had, in addition to the cancers that he's still developing as a result of that service. And I think that's why the work that the VLI does, the work the Veterans Legal Institute does, is so important, because we're able to step in where families, need that burden lifted, where families need additional help. It's not that they can't do it on their own, but it's often that they've been doing it on their own for years. And they need somebody else to come in and fight that battle with them and for them. If the work that VLI does resonates with you, or Mr. Goulart's story speaks to you in some way, you should know that as an attorney, you can get involved from anywhere in the United States. We are able to support pro bono volunteers that are working in any state. With the VA, you do not have to be in the same state as your client, but you do need to go through an accreditation process that we can help you talk through and work through. It's actually quite simple, similar to a moral character application for those of you who've completed those. And there's a 3-hour course that you have to complete that's really useful, even if you weren't going to do this work. So that's one way that you can get involved. You can support VLI's mission in other ways as well. You can offer to do consultations and clinics for our clients from out of state. You can review cases for us. You can get involved with Lawyers for Warriors, which is our annual fundraiser held in November. There's lots of ways for lawyers and non-lawyers to get involved in the work that we're doing at VLI. If hearing Mr. Goulart's story and learning about the work that VLI does has inspired you to get involved, we encourage you to reach out to us. If you're located in the state of California and you're interested, maybe not working on a VA matter, we have regular clinics that allow you to assist our veterans with other matters such as family law, housing, discharge upgrades, estate planning, bankruptcy, even tax issues at times. We really do welcome the expertise of attorneys to bring in their knowledge and to help our veterans. Our veterans face a variety of legal issues, not just veteran benefits specifically, but when they're able to connect with an advocate, they're able to move forward in ways and have transformative life experiences.